So it's that time of year that we start our germination stations. Now let's talk about different products. We have the Amazon, these are all Amazon products. We're gonna start with the cheapest at about $13. This guy right here, it is 13 bucks, Amazon bestseller. Then we have, this is the Vivosun. The second one is the AC Infinity, and it's going for about $17. And this one, the Seedfactor, that's going for 32. So let's talk about them a little bit real quick. We'll start with the cheapest and the best seller. The material that feels on it feels pretty good. It actually feels just like the middle priced one. It comes in a very shy packaging, smallest packaging by far. I'm just having a hard time having it stand on its own. I just took them out of the box. It does have your crop germination days on here just as a cheat sheet, which is super nice. It's right on the mat. They're all the same size, but it's real simple. Doesn't even come with instructions. Okay, let's go to the middle one. This one is about $17 right now. It also has a cheat sheet. They actually look almost identical, except this one has it in several languages. The material feels almost exactly the same. I do like that it probably has the best looking bag out of all of them. It does have a medium, high, and low, and you can mount it. I think that's beautiful. The next thing is it actually gives you some literature, like, hey, here's introduction to growing hemp. All right, so I know where they're going with that. So far, price-wise, I think this one is still better. This is the Seedfactor. This is the most expensive one at $32. It came with all of this. This is all that they came with for reading material, but that's not where the money is. It's got a thermometer, which I expected it to be already built in, and it's not. It does have a problem kind of sticking, but once you put a tray on it, it won't matter, and we are going to do that. We're going to put trays on all of them and see how well they heat up. But it does have with a kind of like a kill switch. Now, I expected it to be integrated, and it's not, which is kind of a nice thing and not a nice thing. The nice thing is that you can take it out, and if you want to use it probably on any of these, you probably could. It's up to 1,000 watts. So I can unplug this and then plug it into any one of these, and it'll work just as good. So this piece of equipment on its own is really nice. Aside from that, so you can control your power here, not just low, medium, high, or that one that just stuck at one temperature period. So this is kind of nice, but the material honestly feels cheaper than the rest of these. And you can actually see the ribs in it. And if you can't see them, you can definitely feel them. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to take seed trays and we're going to put it on top of them. And we'll see how fast and how well they heat up, and also the ones that do have controls, see how well they're controlling heat up. In addition to that, I'm going to test out with this wattage meter. I'm going to test out how much they're all pulling. All right, we're going to start with the Amazon bestseller and the cheapest one. Let's see how well you can see that. Pretty well. And we're just going to plug her right in. Plug her in. And we are running... Can you see that? There we go. So we're running at 20. All right, the next one we're going to do is we're going to do this middle grade one that's so far been my favorite. And we are going to start with the power off. And then we're going to put this thing on. I really don't want to untie these coils because they're going to make a mess. Okay, we can see that. And then I'm going to start turning it to the low. And at low, we're at 13, 14. Kind of hard to hold. And then once we get to medium temperature, 16, 17, 18, and then all the way cranked up, we're at 22. This is really good, especially for efficiency. Okay, all right, so this is the most expensive one at 32 bucks. That's got its own. So right now we are running at 21. So power consumption wise, out of all three of them, that one runs about the same as this one. This one, you can actually get hotter and colder. and you can manipulate your power. So you can, this is really great. So far, this one's taking the cake. We're gonna do, the next test we're gonna do, we're actually gonna run them all at the same time, and we'll see how well they actually heat your product and stay on temperature. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna use this Fluor 8 to see how well these guys actually work. I stepped back quite a bit just so we can actually get them all in one. So I'm gonna plug them in and we're gonna start this. Altogether, they are pulling 61 watts, and we can already see the middle ones heating up pretty much right away. I mean, oh my goodness, look at that. Look how hot that is. This one is starting to, and this one is going as well. Middle one by far started off the fastest. And it's already at 74.5 degrees. The one on the left, the most expensive one, you can actually see the coils in it with the camera. And then this one is 75, 77, 75. So what I expect out of that most expensive one, where I can see the coils in it, is that those areas will deteriorate faster over time due to heat and them being rigid and exposed. I'm gonna put some dirt on top of it, and we're gonna test this out and see how long it takes for each one of them to heat up the dirt. Now, okay, so I went ahead and I put 4 trays down, 3 on mats and 1 outside of a mat. And the reason why I did that is because I want to make sure that it's not just being heated by temperature, room temperature that is. So let's see what they're at. So 60, well, that's 45 degrees to the point. 44, 45. That one is 46, 45. And the last one is at 44, 45. Okay, so they are all the same temperature. I have another complaint with the Seedfactor. Now underneath here, it's showing that it's 56 degrees underneath it. Now my other complaint with the Seedfactor, so if I put it all the way to the edge of that corner, and pull this one all the way to the edge of that corner, pull this one to the edge of that corner, you can actually see minimal lip here, maybe a 1/4 inch here. I'm looking at about 1 inch to 3/4, and same with this, 1 inch to 3/4. So the pads are actually bigger for this. So the pads are actually bigger for the 2 cheaper ones. AC Infinity seems to be my favorite. Another thing that I'd like to add is that these things right here, the Seedfactor that's selling them, so it's $33 so far. The Vivosun will sell these meters with their logo on it for 20 bucks. So realistically, you can get that first cheapest bestseller on Amazon for the same price as this. But so far, that product has been better than the most expensive one, minus obviously the meter, the temperature gauge. It is nice to see them kind of, see where you're getting at, what the temperature is. What I might end up doing here is I might end up cannibalizing these two and make one really good one. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to unplug this meter and plug it into there, and I can set that on lower settings, maybe draw only 13 watts or so out of them, and I can have a really low heat. So if my germination station is well insulated, I can have really low heat over a long period of time on an actual thermostat and not use as much power. So I can almost half the amount of usage of power from that thing. So it's been about an hour and it's gotten warmer. I have a meat thermometer here, as well as there's the thermometer that's underneath that thing. it's showing at about 81 degrees underneath the Seedfactor. Now if we look through our camera here, we're looking at, on the coldest spot here is 53, 52. The Seedfactor, so this one didn't have anything to it. The coldest spot here is at 71. The cold spot here is 67, 68. So 67, 68. And this one is at 65. The next I'm going to do, so this one, the Seedfactor is heating it up the fastest. And it does have a thermostat to it. What worries me is that if you take away that thermostat, it's going to heat it out of control, because you can see the coils in it. Those are more passive, and we want consistency far more than we want like extreme heat or extreme cold. So we'll give it that with the equipment that it comes with, it is good. It's heating it up faster. So again, we have the tray that never got a heating pad. This is the Seedfactor. It is warmer than others, and it's got its own thermostat, and the thermostat actually says that it's 82 degrees underneath there. This by far has been my favorite, the AC Infinity, and it's matching this mat. I'm really thinking that these two mats are made by the same manufacturer, and they have just the instruction manuals on the top of them painted differently, and that's it. But they look alike, they feel alike. The only difference here, I think, is just this little controller, which I really like that you can install it. I'm going to come back in a couple hours and give it the final review. So out of all three of these, the AC Infinity is definitely the winner for the price that you get. The Seedfactor, this equipment, the thermostat is pretty nice, but the mat looks really cheap. Now all of these mats do have their cheat sheets on them, just like this one, just like that one, and the last one. The Vivosun seems like it's the most established one, but definitely leaning towards the middle one. Seems like it's the most down the middle, better product. Even the boxes kind of feels like shit sharper. But I do like this guy. I am gonna combine this one and this one together, kind of cannibalize the Seedfactor.